call your first witness?
Yes, Judge. Bill Buckman.
You can stop right by the witness stand, raise your right hand, please. You swear to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Okay, Bill, can you please state your full name for the record?
Bill Buckman, Washington, Kentucky, Nelson County.
And Bill, did you serve as a Barstow City Council member for the years 2015 and 2016?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Do you recall the circumstances of the November 1st, 2016 City Council meeting where some packets were left outside of the council chambers for that meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And can you tell me when you arrived at that meeting, had those packets been distributed to the council members at their table?
Yes, it has.
Okay. Who all was in the council chambers at the time that you arrived?
Myself, the mayor, Harvey, Jim Brooks.
Okay. And Jim Brooks is a local news media representative in Nelson County.
Yes, sir.
Right. Okay. And prior to the meeting starting, with you all present in the room, did you and the mayor look at the contents of those council packets?
Did?
Okay. And were you familiar with any of the documents contained in that council packet?
Only one,
Okay, which one was that?
the rip-off report that I seen earlier on the internet.
Okay. And is the rip-off report, that was a document that had been forwarded earlier in October by Mayor Royalty, is that right?
That's true.
Okay. And that was in October 17th, that rip-off report had been forwarded.
That's true.
Okay. Have you seen or were you familiar with any of the other documents contained in
No.
the packet?
No.
Do you have any knowledge of any kind how that packet or its contents came to come to the city council chambers?
No.
All right. I want to ask you about another matter. There's been some discussion about the mayor having a conversation with someone about communications between Keisha Copeland and the Louisville news media concerning the mayor. And want to ask you, did you ever have a conversation with Mayor Royalty about communications from Keisha Copeland to the Louisville news media?
Yes.
Okay. And when and where do you think that conversation took place?
Probably at the Huddle House.
Okay. And when you all had this conversation at the Huddle House, what was the substance of the conversation?
We just wondering how the media keeps showing up at every one of the meetings,
Okay.
and
What
the
did you
media
want?
advised us that they were being called.
Okay. And who were they being called by?
Keisha Copeland.
Okay. During that conversation, did the mayor ever show you any documents or an email or anything of that nature related to Keisha Copeland contacting the Louisville news media?
No.
Okay. There's been some testimony by a person named Ken Abels that he witnessed a Huddle House conference by the mayor and what he called his girlfriend. Do you remember Ken Abels being present at the Huddle House in that conversation?
I wouldn't know Ken Abel if he's in the building.
Okay, all right. So it's possible he was there, it's just you wouldn't know who he is.
I don't know.
He was not sitting at your table though, or anything
No.
like that. Did the mayor ever whip out any documents, emails, a manila packet or folder or anything of that nature during that conversation?
No.
Okay. I think that's all. Your witness.
Mr. Buckman, how many times have you been to the Huddle House?
You want a number, or you want just,
I want-
probably every Tuesday after the council meetings and every once in a while in between?
So you've been going to the Huddle House probably, what, 50 times a year?
Give or take.
So As I understand the question was whether or not you ran into Ken Abels and discussed Keisha Copeland's email. There could have been occasions where you weren't with the mayor, isn't that correct?
True.
So if you weren't with the mayor, and you weren't with the mayor when you had a conversation with Mr. Abels, you wouldn't know anything about it, would you?
No.
Let me ask you about the rip-off report. You have indicated you are familiar with the rip-off report.
No, I didn't.
It was my understanding, based on the council's questions to you, he gave you a date and time.
3 years ago, I read that on the internet, and I paid much attention to it,
3 years ago.
or however long it's been.
Well, as I understood the question, it was on October 17th, which was actually, I think, a day past documentation I have. He asked you whether or not you were familiar with the rip-off report, which was sent by email on October 17th. Did you see that email?
In the packet or on the internet?
Let me ask you.
Hold on.
Not sure what you had there.
Really?
There's an email dated October the 16th, 2016. Did you see that email? Have you seen that email before?
That's the only email he's ever sent me, yes.
Okay. That's October the 16th, 2016. Mayor is sending you, that's your email address, is
Yes, it is.
it? Copy of the rip-off report.
Could have. I thought I looked up on the internet. I did look up on the internet.
3 years ago, but he sent this to you on the 16th. Why did he send it to you?
I don't know.
He
Don't
sent-
remember.
He sent it to you and Kathy Green.
I don't remember.
Was that, don't remember, it's the only email you've ever received from him, though. The only one?
I don't know.
And you didn't have any recollection, you have a recollection that's the only one you've ever received, but you don't remember why he may have sent this to you?
That's for knowledge.
Just,
Just for,
what kind of
it's
knowledge?
public record.
I understand, but what kind of knowledge?
I don't know. He just sent to me, maybe for shits and giggles. Hell, I don't know.
Shits and giggles, did you have shits and giggles when you saw that?
I thought it was funny.
You thought it was funny?
Yeah.
Did you think it was intended to be used at a later date?
I don't know about that.
You're aware it was used at a later date?
Yeah, in fact, yeah.
Do you find that interesting, though, that the date on this is October 16th and it shows up in a packet 14 days later?
No.
You don't find that, the only time you've ever received...
I never read the packet.
The only time you've ever received an email from the mayor based on your testimony,
Yep.
14 days later, it arrives in an anonymous packet at the council doorstep. You don't find that unusual? Not at all.
I don't know who put the packets. I don't know how that ended up in there. I don't know. Didn't care. My statement was it was petty.
It was petty, it was for
It was
shits and
petty.
giggles. But this was shits and giggles.
It's petty. Yeah, it's petty.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
I agree with you, the packets were petty. Would you agree that anyone who would have done this to a council member would have sent the rip-off report that is pretty petty, wouldn't you?
That's true.
Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah. What if it was a city employee who did this petty thing about
I
it?
have no knowledge of that.
Well, let me ask you though, I mean, you were a sitting council member, you're a former council member, you're a former public official. What if you were aware of a city employee sending this sort of stuff out of a council member? How would you react?
I'd advise the mayor, that's his job.
Would you have been upset?
It was petty.
Petty.
It's all public record.
Do you think that disrupts, it was disruptive to the meeting when this rip-off report was included in these anonymous packets that magically appeared on the council's steps?
Was it disruptive? No.
It wasn't disruptive to the meeting?
It wasn't me. I take care of city business. I didn't take care of that.
Did you talk about,
I did city business.
Did you talk-
I separated the two.
well, did you by chance talk about the packets
Was it-
during the meeting?
I don't remember, they did not. They'll be on record.
Right? I think you did.
You may have.
So you weren't doing city business, you were talking about the petty business, weren't
They
you?
were talking about it, I didn't bring it up.
But you were talking.
I don't know if I spoke or not.
Okay. So the only time in the history, how many years did you serve on the council? 2. So 700 days of serving as a public servant, you get one email. Is this true, right? One email. I gotta do my math. I'm not real good at math. 15 days before the information in this email magically appears on the council doorstep in an anonymous packet, right? Does that make sense to you? Do you see the possible coincidence at all?
It's speculation, man.
Would you see that the timing sort of seems a little odd?
I didn't know the timing was there.
Well, I know you didn't. But you recall this. Why did you say it was a lie during the presentation?
But I didn't remember. It's the only email we ever got in 2 years. I didn't remember, just like I said, it was petty.
Well, I think that's the word we will use the rest of the day. It wasn't.
Good word.
I have no further questions.
That's good.
You're free to go, Mr. President.
I said, did you recall me on?
I don't think so. He's ready, he's
No,
free
I've
to go,
got it.
period. Yes, you're free to leave.
Thank you.
Call Bruce Brown, judge.
Bruce?